welcome back to So Rare Sunday. And today we're going to be looking at the 5th of May to the 11th of May. So let's have a look what happened this week. Okay, so starting off at last weekend, we're just going to look at what we got. So we got 16 Essence, 600 Common Essence, 500 XP in Rare, and 1000 XP in Limited. So we're getting some rewards for Rare, but not quite what I'd hoped. I wanted to get some essence, some rare essence, so I can start building that up. But we'll get there eventually. So as you can see, we got La Liga 2 essence for this team. We got 500 XP for this team, 2 essence for the Premier League, and just going down, more essence. Contender, we got 2 essence. I don't think this sidebar shows all of the ones that you get rewards for. So we're just going to scroll down slowly, quickly go through how this weekend went. So this is my West Ham team got the 2 essence. My Brentford kind of, because I used Larson from Wolves because I got rid of Wissa. So yeah, this team is kind of a mishmash. It's even more of a mishmash this weekend that we're in at the moment. So I have done a little bit of trading around and stuff, mainly because I've been trying to get, if I just quickly go onto my cards, some more rare players. So I've been trying to trade my way up into getting some more rare players. As you can see, I've traded a lot to be able to build some basic teams. I'm starting to build a Club Bruges stack because I think Norden Jackers might be the number 1 keeper next season. So he was like a cheapish keeper that might be a good one for next season. But yeah, so I've got a Hib stack already. I've got 2 J League stacks which I can use. So not any particular team, but I've got 2 keepers which are out of season, and then other players which some I've brought, some I've traded. And then also on the limited side, I have traded to get a bunch of like Man United players because I do quite like Man United. I have been a Man United fan for quite a while, since I was like little. For my sins, they've not been the funnest to support, but I do think that some of these players, not all of them are going to stay, but I think Hoyland, Mainu, Ugarte, they're pretty nailed on to be there next season, I would hope. So they're not too shabby to have for like a classics team. And also Onana, he might be there next season, he might not, but you know what? I don't know. I don't really know what their plan is. There's talks of them going for Milinkovic Savic, I think is his name, for Torino. So if they do bring him in, obviously Onana will not be a keeper that I use, but it might be that he moves to somewhere that he is a first choice keeper and does better in like like maybe the Dutch league again, or the French league, or somewhere like that, where it's not as intense as the Premier League. He actually could do really well because he's not a bad keeper, I don't think. He just makes mistakes. So I've got him, hopefully. I also heard Marcus Edwards will be moving to Burnley. So I picked him up for a trade for really cheap, like just 1 or 2 players which I never used. So there's a few players which I got rid of which I didn't necessarily like. Not that I didn't want to, but they were players which I used, and you'll see that when I'm going through my lineups. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to trade my way up just for next season now, trying to think of players that I want. Like Mark Gahey will be playing for England pretty much. I'm going to say he's like nailed on starter defender now, mostly. So I've got him for when there's international games. He doesn't play great for Crystal Palace, unfortunately, but I think he probably will get signed by a bigger club this season, or next season, and you'll see him playing England, playing probably European competition somewhere along the way. So depending on what Crystal Palace want for him as well, though, they might put the price too high. So that's what I've been doing with kind of the cards, and you might see some players which I have had not there anymore. It's because I've traded them away. Looking back at how it went this week, then. So the classics Premier League, we didn't do anything. 300 common essence for the classic Premier League, but like if they had replaced the top like six prizes with something related to limited, this classics option would make sense, but it's just pointless. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. So still hate it. There you go. La Liga we didn't do a lot with, but this team did fairly all right. Ansu Fati finally playing again for Barcelona, so hopefully he's going to find either he's going to move this summer, or he's going to find a starting place again in Barca. I don't know if he will. I think he's lost that hype around him. A lot of people are looking at Yamal and players like that in his position. So I think he needs to move to get some regular football. To be honest, otherwise he's going to just bottom out and not be anything like the player he could have been. Classics again, pointless, but there you go. I got 200 essence for it. Bundesliga, I have started trading this Freiburg team away. So Attenbulu is gone. Doan, I think, might be going, and Holler. I've got a few trades in the works, so if they get accepted, a lot of these guys are gone. I've not really been that fussed about the Bundesliga competition, so I wouldn't mind getting rid of them if that makes sense. So I was like, you know what, they're worth more money to me in terms of trades and getting players that I want. So I'm going to put them into trades for players that I want. So yeah, I think Attenbulu got me one of the rare cards, one of the more expensive ones. So not having to put money into the rares and being able to just trade it makes a lot more sense for me. MLS, I'm really struggling with. Like, I can't pick up who's a starter, who's playing well, who's not. So we got some good players in there. We picked up Kramashi for I think like a quid or something like that in the auctions. So he seems like a fairly decent young player for Inter Miami. But yeah, in terms of like getting anything for the MLS stuff, we're not there yet. We're not getting anything. In terms of champions, we just got 500 XP, which you know how I feel about the XP. Not great. I also have traded my AZ keeper and team, so they're gone. And they actually the trade went through. And what's really annoying is I put the trade through an hour before this game week ended, and we would have got something for this team if I would have kept it. So that was my bad. I was being stupid there. But yeah, I've again used the keeper who's worth a bit more money to get a good trade on some rare cards. So again, I don't mind doing that because to be fair, they weren't really performing as a team. I didn't think that I was getting much from them, and they were kind of definitely Osu Adoro. He just was not. He was either not playing, he was dropped, or he was playing quite poorly. So he just was one of them players where I was like, I know he's young and he's probably one that you want to keep hold of because through the next like 3 or 4 years he's going to get better. But he's probably a player I could pick up again for not that much if I did want him later on in the season, next season or something like that. But yeah, nothing from the Challenger in seasons, but 5 essence from this Challenger Classic, where we did quite well with a defender scorer and Gunnock getting a clean sheet. So yeah, overall not too shabby with that one. We also did some trades with this team, so that got cancelled out. I'm trying not to do that as much anymore, but that has happened this week a little bit. In terms of the rare, you can see Hibs. I chose all the wrong players. They won 3-1, but none of the players on here did anything particularly special. So we missed out on that. I can never remember this guy's name. What's Saski, I think it is. Saski got an assist, but otherwise very underwhelming team. And then this team, which got the 500 XP, actually did fairly well. Just our midfielder, which let us down. If I had it the other way around, we would probably got some essence, which is a tad annoying. So then into the limited, we got 2 essence from our Hibs limited team because we had 2 players which are more expensive. I've managed to trade up for getting Martin Boyle, so he will be playing this weekend for my rare team. But Triantis, I haven't been able to trade for, so um, he's one which I'll probably try and get near, like in the next couple of months. But see if anyone wants to trade for him in rare. But I'm not going to push it. It's fine. I've got enough Hibs players to get on if I need to. And then this team got us 5 essence as well in the contender. Salinger doing well. Rio Jermaine doing pretty well recently. He seems to have found some form in the J League, so that's pretty decent. And then nothing for under 23s, and in the special, nothing either. So that's how our last weekend went. And then midweek, because I traded up for Man United players, and I have some Tottenham players already, I managed to get this team together. But we were way off getting anything. 144 points to closest rewards. Again, a lot of players which didn't do anything during the game. They won, and it's a great result. They've got a final, both Tottenham and United, so it's going to be great to watch that All England final. I'm cheering on United just because, like I said, I'm a bit of a fan, but either who win would be quite a cool story, to be honest. And then I was really close, 14 points away with this team. Again, Rio Jermaine doing pretty well, getting another goal. Gregor doing all right. Osako doing pretty well as well in goal, getting a clean sheet. So yeah, overall, we didn't do too badly midweek, and we actually were able to put together a team, but nothing from it. And that's how we did this week. And so we're going to go on to our player to watch. Okay, so my player to watch might be a bit obvious if you've watched any football this week, but it's Mason Mount. And the reason I say that is if he can stay fit next season, and he is part of Almiron's plan, which he clearly looks like he is, he, I think, will be a really good player. I think he suits Almiron's system. I think he is not that old. He's only 26, so he's still got a lot of years left in him, and he is coming into the sort of age where midfielders start to hit their prime. Maybe like 28 is more close, but he's approaching that. Do you know what I mean? And he started to show glimpses of his former form like 2-3 years ago. And I think that he's not that expensive. He's like £2, £3 to pick up, I think, from like managers. Yeah, 250. Overall, yeah, you can pick him up for around 250, basically, which isn't too expensive for a Premier League player. He has been coming off the bench, but as you can see, he's been coming off the bench and actually getting okay scores. And I just think that next season, if you're looking for a classic card or like wait for next season and pick him up as a in-season card, he might actually be one of those players which is a real standout player. So in my opinion, he could be a really important player to watch. And yeah, I think he's just one which I feel really sorry for him because he's had such a rough start to his life at United. He's been hampered with terrible injuries, and the fan base can be pretty harsh at times, can't they? They can be pretty cruel coming for players, and I just think that he has the opportunity. I don't think he'll get sold on because the amount they'd have to sell him for to break even doesn't make any sense to sell him on unless a huge offer comes from somewhere like Saudi, but I don't see that happening because they're huge offers are coming in for other players in United, like Bruno. So, yeah, I think he's going to stick around. I think if Bruno does go, Mount might slot into a role next to someone because you need kind of like 2 players to replace that output of Bruno, I feel, in midfield. And you've got Mason Mount and maybe another like playmaker sort of player. And I think that works fairly well as like kind of a replacement for that big gap that's going to be missing if Bruno does go. So yeah, that's my opinion on Mount. I think he's a good player. I think he's had a really rough season with injury, and I think that he's starting to come out of that. And I think the manager works well with him. So he's one to watch for the future for sure. But again, he's one of those players which could not pan out. You could start the season, he could start getting injury, start to just not play that well, and then get dropped. So he's a risk, obviously, if you want to pick him up. you're taking a risk on him not playing as well, or not doing that well this next season, or just not playing next season. Yeah, don't take that as a given, but he's just one of those players which I think keep an eye on. If he does start playing well next season, maybe pick him up then if that's what where you're a bit concerned. But yeah, that's my opinion on that one. And we're now going to go on to, I guess, what's in the box, but we don't have any boxes to open. So it's going to just be a essence pull. But let's go to what's in the box. What's in the box? So yeah, as I said, because Rivals is gone, we've got no boxes. So we don't pick up too many boxes in the pros sort of competition. So it's always was Rivals that we were picking up a lot of the boxes. So unfortunately, it looks like what's in the box might go die a death, but I just haven't decided what I want to replace it with because I still want a bit where I craft cards, you know. But for now, we're just going to keep it calling what's in the box, and you know what I mean. So we have just enough essence to do a T5 pull. 24 essence we've got, so we've got 20 for a T5. Last T5, we got a great pull. We got Mohamed Salah, which was the best card I've ever pulled. I'm hoping we keep the good vibes going. And we see something at least. Portugal. Forward. Who's a Portuguese forward for Wolves? Oh, okay. Guedes. He doesn't not play. Let's have a look at him, shall we? Okay, so we picked up Gonzalo Guedes, who is a Wolves player who comes on as like an impact sub. Had a great run of form through November and December, midway through the season, basically. But nothing I mean, just looking back at the season, he's not been consistent. But when he does come on and play, when did he play Barcelona? Okay, so he used to play for Villarreal up until the new season, and then he signed. Either came back from loan or signed for Wolves. I'm not 100% sure. How much is he going for? He's like 30, 40p. So he's not that worth that much anyway. He does play in the Premier League. He's probably one that you would keep hold of just as a potential. He's 28. He potentially will be one of those players which will be either signed by another team because he's not playing enough and he wants more time, or he will be played more by Wolves, because I know a few Wolves players are going to be picked up by bigger teams in the division because they've impressed this season. So maybe Guedes fits in and will just naturally take over and deputise that role. So he's not the worst pull, but he's definitely no Mohamed Salah, is he? So we'll keep hold of him and we'll see how that goes. He's definitely not worth enough for me to put into trades at the moment. So he might just be a player which I drop in and out of a Premier League classic lineup next season if he is playing or not. But yeah, that was our one pull that we had this video. Unfortunately, it's getting harder and harder to do these sort of things. Sorare has made it difficult to actually get stuff from the game, which is a bit unfortunate, especially with the taking of rivals and stuff. So hopefully they will look at that in the next couple of months and realise that maybe they overcorrected one way, and they'll bring it back a little bit and give us something more. But until then, we'll keep persevering, and we're going to jump on to NBA. Okay, so with NBA, it's going to be a really short one, this one, because we haven't really done a lot. We've done the dailies. Annoyingly enough, the weekly, we finished this one, and the day after this one finished, this one went live. And I did not see the 6th to the 21st show up to be able to put a team in. So I was like, okay, that means that I now can't put a weekly team in. Great. But it means that I have more of my limited cards for the dailies. So it's not the end of the world, but it's a bit frustrating that it didn't let me. There wasn't enough time for me to put in a team. I think you had like an hour to put a team in or something like that, which is not usually with like the football with like you have a little bit of pre-warning, but they didn't with this one, which was a bit strange. Um, the limited I got 5 essence for. I was quite pleased with. Didn't do too shabby. And we also got 5 essence from the championship chase, the first round. The limited we got 50. It wasn't anything. And we are also doing trades in NBA. So this team got cancelled because I was doing trades, but this team was not getting anything. That's why I cancelled it. Garland was injured, didn't play, and you're already basically done for if you've not got all players playing. So I was like, okay, that's fine. We're out. In terms of dailies, we'll just go back to the 5th. We've been doing some limited, some common, depending on if we have the cards in limited, because we don't have all the teams that are playing in the playoff. But we did okay. We've got a couple of days where we haven't won anything, and a couple of days where we've just won a common card and some essence, common essence that is. But every time you put in, this was my worst one. I didn't really have a proper lineup. Look at that, what an absolute shambles, eh? But yeah, in terms of championship chase, it takes all of your scores and it takes your best scores and cumulatively adds them up. So at the moment, for my common, I'm going to get 3 essence for all of my scores that I've got. Whereas that's going to obviously change over the game week, because there'll be more scores coming in and people getting different scores and stuff. But with limited as well, I've got a couple of scores now on the board, and that puts me down here, and I'll get 5 essence at the end of this championship chase as well. So it definitely actually probably works out better than a weekly comp. The championship chase, I have more chance to change around teams which aren't working and things like that. So we'll see. This is my current lineup for today's team, because I'm filming this on the 10th. And we have 31 limited essence. So we're about 20 off getting another pull within NBA. I don't think we're going to get anything before the end of the season, unless we get a daily or weekly, which we're not close to just yet. But if we do, I'm not sure whether I'll use it, because we can hold on to that essence and do a pull come the new season. So when we get some new cards coming in. So that's probably what I'm going to do. But that's it with NBA. I mean, we've got some big playoff games coming up. Not sure who's going to win yet. There's a lot of good teams still in it, a lot of good players still in it who will be the difference makers for their teams. But it's a very interesting season, and there's a lot of players which are kind of standing out, and some players which are surprisingly really dropping off the radar and really playing poorly in games where they should have shown up. So which are teams which are already out. So yeah, interesting season for NBA. Maybe it's just interesting to me because it's the first one I've properly followed. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in that. And we're gonna finish it there. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if there's anything in Sorare that you're enjoying at the moment, anything that you're struggling with, like maybe not enjoying it since Rivals has gone. I know I'm not. I don't want to harp on about it, but it does mean that I just don't go on to Sorare as much. I go on like once or twice a week now to check if my limited pros teams are set up correctly. I'll go on to do the dailies for like NBA and just for NBA actually. So I'll go on to do the dailies for NBA, but that literally takes 2 minutes and then I'll be done. So it is a little bit like there's no real reason for me to go on to and it's weird that they've taken away an option to go for you to want to go on to their thing, onto their product. So we'll see what they do. I think they're probably going to see a lot of people dropping off from their platform, and maybe they'll readjust and fix what they've essentially broken. But let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.